and get started. Welcome, like I've said before, this is the School Improvement Curriculum and Instruction Support Grant webinar. So this is part of the LASO Cycle 4 and focuses on campus level grant design, to strengthen curriculum instruction in school improvement campuses. We're going to walk through the purpose, eligibility, funding, and how to apply. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. But first things first, my name is Amanda Galvin, and I'm going to be your presenter today. I'm excited to walk you through the details of this grant that we call CISG for short, and answer as many questions as possible during our time together. Just know that I've got just a few people on the call today, so if you ask your question in the Q&A, we're going to put a standard answer in there saying, hey, we're going to get to you soon. We're going to post all of this into the frequently asked questions that are going to be published on the LASO Cycle 4 website. So after all the webinars are complete, we're going to go through and answer the question. That way, not only you get the answers to the question, but other Texas school systems that might have the same question. So if your question requires some sort of a follow-up, you can always email us at lift@tea.texas.gov. So start to familiarize yourself with just the tools at the bottom. You might have to click the three dots to bring up that Q&A support. Go ahead and bring that up. That way you have it and you're ready to ask any questions you have as we go through our time together. So here's our agenda. We're going to start with a quick overview of LASO Cycle 4. Then we're going to take a deeper look into the CISG support grant, or like I mentioned before, School Improvement Curriculum and Instruction Support Grant. We're going to close with some key dates, how to apply, and next steps. LASO is also another acronym that stands for Learning Acceleration Support Opportunities. This is a single streamlined application that gives districts access to grant, allotments, and in-kind supports. LASO Cycle 4 offers $500 million in estimated services and supports. There are 15 initiatives available, and districts only need one application to submit to be considered for multiple opportunities. So we'll talk more about that towards the end when we talk about our timeline. If you maybe don't have access to the LASO grant, I'm going to talk about a link that you can submit to be able to get that application. LASO Cycle 4 is anchored in 4 strategies: curriculum instruction, educator training, more time, and innovative school models. These strategies are designed to help school districts accelerate student learning and improve outcomes. CISG falls under the curriculum and instruction strategy. So this table really gives a high-level view of the LASO portfolio. Like I mentioned before, there are 15 grant initiatives in the portfolio this year. So lots of opportunities for you in your school system. But we're going to zoom in right here on this grant called Curriculum and Instruction Support Grant. So there are multiple grants designed to strengthen student success, but we're going to really focus on this CISG grant. Now that we've looked at that LASO portfolio and seen how multiple initiatives fit together, we're going to take a closer look at this grant, CISG. It's designed specifically for campuses that need the most support in strengthening curriculum and instruction. We're going to talk about what the grant is, why it matters, and how it can transform teaching and learning. CISG is not just about purchasing materials, it's about creating an experience where teachers have the tools and the time to focus on instruction, and students have daily access to rigorous grade level content. But before we dive into those details, let's ground ourselves in the reality of where our student performance is. Across Texas, only about half of students in grades 3 through 8 are reading on grade level. So take a look at some of the chart that shows kind of pre-COVID numbers and then post-COVID numbers. Across Texas, only about half of students in grades 3 through 8 are reading on grade level, like I mentioned. Nearly a quarter of the students do not meet even the approaches standard. This number represents real students who are capable of more, but need consistent access to high quality instruction to get there. This is why CISG exists, to ensure campuses have the materials and support to close these gaps and accelerate learning. Math tells a similar story. Performance has not fully recovered pre-COVID levels. About 1/3 of students do not meet the approaches standard, and only about 40% are on grade level. These gaps compound over time, especially in math, where concepts build year after year. SICSG helps address this by funding high quality instructional materials and align supports that give teachers the tools to deliver rigorous instruction and help students catch up and move forward. High quality instructional materials benefit students by ensuring they have access to rigorous, TEKS-aligned content every day. Students deserve grade level work that challenges them and prepares them for success. But HQAM also benefits teachers. Instead of spending hours creating lessons from scratch, teachers can focus on planning how to teach effectively. SICSG makes this possible by funding the materials and professional learning needed to implement them well. This shift means teachers spend less time on the what and more time on the how. How to engage students, how to check for understanding, and how to adjust instruction. All right, you on the webinar, raise your hand if you see teachers staying late to prepare lessons for the next day. I'm sure everybody on the webinar has raised their hand because there are lots of hands raised. This is because teachers are spending 7 to 12 hours each week searching for and creating instructional materials. This is a crazy amount of time because their schedule only allows for 3.75 hours. So that's adding up all that planning time together. And this imbalance really forces teachers to work late nights and weekends just to prepare for lessons. SICSG helps fix that by providing ready-to-use, high-quality materials so teachers can use their limited planning time to internalize lessons and prepare for strong instruction. This is about giving teachers time back for work that matters the most. High-quality instructional materials completely change the nature of teaching and planning. Instead of spending hours building lessons from scratch, finding text, writing questions, creating worksheets, teachers can use their planning time for something far more impactful: internalization. But what is internalization? This is the process of deeply understanding the lesson before teaching it. Teachers review the lesson goals, study the sequence of tasks, and anticipate where students might struggle. They think through the questions that will spark discussion, identify misconceptions that could arise, and plan how to respond in the moment. Internalization is about preparing the how of teaching once the what is already clear and coherent. So thinking about like all that time that teachers spend finding text, creating worksheets, they can really be thinking about what is it that my students aren't going to understand, and that material is already ready for them. SICSG really supports this shift by funding not only the materials, but also the training and coaching that make internalization possible. With HQAM, teachers have a strong foundation. The curriculum provides content and assessments and scaffolds. This really frees our teachers to focus on instructional moves that accelerate learning, modeling, questioning, checking for understanding, and adjusting based on student needs. This is how we move from compliance to excellence in planning and instruction. For school improvement campuses, HQAM is essential. Students who are furthest behind need access to that grade level work every day. Novice teachers need clear, coherent materials and aligned professional learning to succeed. Campuses with high teacher turnover and student mobility need consistency across classrooms. And SICSG provides the resource and support to make this possible, ensuring that every student and every teacher have what they need to succeed. So we've really dived into the what. Now we're going to dive into, the why. Now we're really going to dive into what. So what is this grant? The School Improvement Curriculum Instruction Support Grant is just 1 year. So 1 year grant funding to really focus on campus level supports. It's a campus level grant designed to strengthen curriculum instruction for campuses that are in school improvement. Again, targets Title I campuses identified for CSI, ATS, or TSI, and provides up to $200,000 per campus. The grant supports adoption of HQIM or instructional improvements in eligible grade bands. Ensuring students have access to rigorous, TEKS-aligned content, teachers have the support to implement it effectively. So take a look at this just to start familiarizing yourself with the grant. But really, it's all about getting those instructional materials where it matters most. Eligible campuses are Title I campuses identified for, like I said before, CSI, ATS, or TSI. Campuses must remain Title I in the 26 through 27 school year. There are 2 ways to qualify, so really focus in on this. First, your campus must plan to adopt and implement a state board of education, high quality instructional material that is not part of the Bluebonnet Learning Suite. Your campus is implementing curriculum and instruction improvements in grade levels where an SBOE approved list does not exist, meaning the materials have not gone through the IMER process yet. So again, pathway one, you are wanting to implement curriculum that is not Bluebonnet and is approved through SBOE. Or you have a grade level content area where it has not gone through the IMER review process yet, but it is a instructional material. Both of those pathways are eligible for this grant. Want to just kind of bring one important note just to ensure that there's no confusion towards this. If your district is implementing Bluebonnet Learning, that does not automatically disqualify a school improvement campus from applying for SICISG. Really, the key is what the campus plans to do with the grant. So start to focus in on what grade level it is that you want to put this grant towards. For example, if an elementary campus is using Bluebonnet Math, but wants to adopt an SBOE approved reading program that is not part of Bluebonnet, this campus can still apply under that first pathway. The focus is really expanding access to instructional materials beyond what is covered by Bluebonnet. So start to think about what is the grade level, what is the content area. So just because your district has Bluebonnet, that doesn't automatically disqualify you from this grant. Awarded campuses must meet several assurances. This includes securing leadership approval, implementing eligible HQAM, or instructional improvements. Also, contracting with an approved provider and submitting required reports and participating in TA-led activities. So take a moment, read through this slide to familiarize yourself with the grant assurances. You can find all of this and more on the LASO website. This is the part of the webinar where I'm going to start really pushing the LASO website. So tea.texas.gov/LASO. You can go and find the program guidelines for SICISG and take a look at these grant assurances. Now we're going to talk more about the priority tiers. So applicants are scored using a tiering system. Priority tier 1 includes CSI campuses, followed by ATS and TSI. Within each tier, campuses are ranked by star scores from lowest to highest. Additional factors like calendar length and school districts without a full feeder pattern may influence this prioritization. We're going to talk a bit about what does that mean with that 165 days and the why behind it. So if your district is committed to moving towards 165 days in the school year, you will be prioritized. This is about really giving teachers and students access to the time that they need to fully internalize and deliver high quality instruction. That's because most instructional materials are built on a scope and sequence with 165 days or more. So really, we want to focus in on districts that can implement this with fidelity and have quality. All of this extra time ensures full implementation and alignment with the curriculum. Implementing SICISG successfully requires a time commitment from key roles across the system. Superintendents will provide strategic oversight. District leaders monitor district-level implementation and support procurement. Campus leaders engage at campus level for oversight, teacher coaching, and performance management activities. Teachers will participate in training and implement solid instructional practices. All of these commitments ensure that the program delivers meaningful, lasting impact. Each participating campus can receive up to $200,000. At least 70% of the funds must go to an approved provider, and 30% can be used for other allowable expenses. Some of those allowable use of funds include payroll costs, consumable and durable supplies, as well as services with the approved provider. So again, tea.texas.gov/LASO, go to SICISG, take a look at the program guidelines, and it'll give you a full list of things that you can use the funding for. All applicants must contract with one approved provider from the LASO Cycle 4 list. All of these vendors have been vetted by TEA and includes education service centers as vendors, as well as some other approved providers. This list is posted on the LASO website and will be updated as needed. If your district is awarded SICISG in the contracts, excuse me, in contracts with an approved provider, you have to include specific language in the contract. Take a moment, read over this slide to familiarize yourself with some of the language and be ready if you have to put a contract together with an approved provider. As you move forward, review the eligibility and prioritization guidance. So again, tea.texas.gov/LASO. Take a look at those program guidelines and start to identify campuses that might be a good fit. Starting to prepare early, ensuring alignment with your curriculum instruction staff will ensure a smooth application process when the window opens. So now we're going to jump into some of those LASO technical pieces to kind of help you start to get the application in. So first things first, here is a quick timeline of what to expect. So we're right now in that September, October, November timeframe. December 3rd, our applications will be due with an anticipated award announcement of February 2nd. So in the meantime, head to the website, tea.texas.gov/LASO, and start to familiarize yourself with all the different initiatives that are out there. We're going to take a look at this that I mentioned before, the application request link. So on October 3rd, TEA emailed a unique application link to school systems. If your superintendent did not receive that application link, or maybe you've had a switch in superintendents on the TEA website, there is a request for application link form. Go ahead and fill that out and your superintendent will receive a new application link. This goes to the superintendent because at the bottom, applications must be signed with the superintendent to be accepted. You can look at the application before submitting, like I mentioned, starting to get alignment with your curriculum instruction staff. There's a PDF of the application that's posted on the LASO Cycle 4 website. So go through that, take a look, and start to gather the information that's needed to submit the application. Some next steps, if you have questions, we have office hours for the SICISG grant coming up on October 27th, 2025 from 2 to 2:30. So there's a registration link on the LASO website. Again, I've mentioned that applications were sent out October 3rd. They're due December 3rd. If you need support in submitting that application on October 27th from 8 to 8:30, and again on November 3rd at 5 o'clock, there are some office hours that you can attend to get some support with that application. From this webinar and the webinar that we did in early October, we're generating frequently asked questions, getting some answers, and we'll be posting those to the LASO website by November the 3rd. Again, we have 2 emails here to note, write down. If you have questions on your application or any other technical things, you can go to laso@tea.texas.gov, or you can email us if you have specific SICISG programmatic questions, and that's our email at the bottom, lift@tea.texas.gov. Here's some information from the LASO team regarding the competitive grant process. This impacts all LASO 4 grants. So if your district has any questions about this information, please reach out to the LASO email. Again, here's another glance at the timeline just to make sure that you're grounding yourself with some of the upcoming dates. Application window closes December 3rd. We're going through our programmatic webinars now. This is the last one, but the webinar recording will be posted to the LASO website soon. Next steps, make sure you fill out that application before December the 3rd. Communicate all the information with your school systems and register for those office hours if you have any questions. Again, on the LASO website, it's very, very resource heavy. So our best fit guide for all 15 initiatives is there. Our grant one-pagers and eligibility and prioritization guidance documents are there. So read through those, see if not only this grant, but maybe other grants might be a good fit for your school system. So we're so glad that you joined us today. Thank you, thank you. If you have any questions, please email us at lift@tea.texas.gov. Like I mentioned before, we do have a Q&A running. We're going to stay on for another minute if maybe a question has popped into your head here at the very end. But after that minute, we're going to close the webinar and you can always email us at this email below. Again, thank you for joining us and we will see your application soon.